Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to apologize in advance because this video is going to be not very happy.
In fact, this is probably the most pessimistic video I will ever make on here.
So I apologize in advance. Hopefully this cozy little setup that I have will make up for it somehow. I got my little twinkle lights on today. Kind of help set the mood, because this I feel like is going to be a bummer. But I just want to be honest and I want to talk about it. I want to see if anyone else resonates with me. So yeah, if you can guess by the title of this video, we are going to be talking about popular Booktok books that just really didn't do it for me. These are books that I've given 2 stars or below, or I've DNF'd. They're really hyped up on TikTok and the whole Booktok community. I've tried them out and I just really did not like the storyline, the writing style, the author, whatever.
Obviously, this is just my opinion. If you love these books, then I love that for you.
I want everyone to just read what they want, but I also want to know if anyone else has the same opinions as me regarding these books, so let's get into it. So the first book I want to talk about is one in a series, and this is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. I actually ended up reading all 3 books, so we have The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and Queen of Nothing. This is a young adult fantasy romance, kind of, I think it's a romance. Set in this world of fairies. We have a mortal girl that kind of grows up in this fairy world. The reason why it made this list is because I thought it was I thought the setting was so ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
We have giant toads that you ride on in lieu of horses. We have a prince with a really long tail and his band of misfits that really just like to bully our main character. So much about this plotline that I really didn't like. I read it just to hope that the following books in the series would have improved, and it really didn't for me. I think that our main character Jude was not a bad character. I just feel like everyone around her
Sucked.
Her sister Taryn was probably the worst character I've ever read, and I've read a lot of books. Hate her, absolutely hate her. Carden, Prince Carden, I know a lot of people like him, and I think it's just because he has like a tail. Honestly, I don't think it's because of anything he does. He annoys me a lot, and I really don't like the bully romance trope, being so mean to somebody and then just forgiving them like it never happened, and having a relationship with them is just so unrealistic and toxic, and I was just not a fan. But I ended up reading the entire series. I did not read The Stolen Heir because I gave up on it. I don't think Holly Black is the author for me. I also tried reading Tithe by her, and that also was just a big flop. So yeah, The Cruel Prince. Next up we have The Atlas Paradox. This is actually book 2 in a duology, I think. The first book is The Atlas 6 by Olivie Blake, another big hyped up book on Booktok that had a lot of attention because it was, I think, independently published, and then it was traditionally published. It had the new cover that you see here, and it had some differences from the indie published to this version. I love the concept of this. I think that the whole Alexandrian society being very academically oriented, and the little magic, science-based magic that is in here as well, is really cool. I love the pretentious characters that you really just learn to hate, but they're so smart that you're just like kind of sucking up everything that they say and hoping it makes sense, because you have no idea really what they're saying because they're that smart. Yeah, I liked that. Once I got to book 2, I feel like it just really slowed down. I probably should have reread book 1 before I started book 2 again. I just jumped right into book 2 as soon as it released. I got like halfway through it and I just was really bored. I was really bored. Nothing was picking up. I will say her writing style is kind of slower in my opinion, and there's not too much action. So if you are not interested in a book that is gonna be really slow paced, not a lot of dialogue, a lot of build up with setting and inner monologue stuff going on with multiple POVs, I don't think this is the book series for you. It it is like a dark academia as well, but because of the science fiction stuff that kind of goes on here with the magic system, it could seem kind of confusing. So I understand it if you don't like this. I liked book 1, but book 2 really just was a flop in my opinion. It should have been way more fast paced in order to just tie off loose ends and finish this little duology. So
unfortunately, it just didn't work for me.
next up, we have The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. This is book 1 in the Dreamland Billionaires series, and I'm only including book 1 here because this is a standalone series. You do not have to read all 3. If you don't want to, you can just skip to book 2, book 3, which I would recommend you do because book 1 was,
My opinion,
terrible. I made a fully dedicated video to that book in particular. I will link it down below on all the reasons why this book just did not work for me. But to summarize, I don't think I like a workplace romance, and I think the writing style, this contemporary romance in a workplace setting with a grumpy sunshine character trope, it needs to be very carefully done in order to seem realistic and not corny or cheesy and just completely ridiculous, and I think the book failed in doing that. Not to say, again, I liked books 2 and 3 a lot. I think I gave them each a 4-star rating. This book I think was a 1-star in my opinion. It just, the grumpy sunshine aspect of this employer-employee relationship was so unrealistic. I really did not like our main character, Zara. She was super naive and immature in a lot of ways, and how she spoke to her supervisor in this book was just like,
What?
people can hear you in this setting. How are you not getting in trouble for speaking to someone like that? You're making, like, it just would not work in the real world. And in order to be a contemporary romance, I feel like you have to make it somewhat realistic. Like, there needs to be consequences for your actions. And I hated the dialogue between them. It was dumb. I did like the text messages in order to give them a fair chance. Like, I did enjoy the text messages. I like the setting of this fake Disneyland world. And I liked the concept of this billionaire trying to fulfill his grandfather's wishes and doing these things in order to receive his inheritance. That was all really great, but the actual relationship part, which is basically the most important part of this book, didn't work for me. Next up, we have Things We Hide from the Light and Things We Never Got Over. I think I said that backwards because Things We Never Got Over was published first. Again, another standalone series, but I think in order to understand book 2, you probably should still read book 1. It would make more sense. And I read all of book 1, and I read about 60% of book 2, and I DNF'd it.
I just feel like it's not worth losing IQ points over.
So I'm not gonna waste any more time. I've tried reading it over the last couple of months in order to like make a review really quickly for you guys, and I couldn't do it. I tried so hard, I pushed through it, and I just gave up. This is another contemporary romance set in a small town setting. We have a girl from a big city moving here. There's a lot of drama with her family and her niece, and we have a grumpy sunshine character trope again here. Book 2 is more of like an enemies to lovers kind of, but not really. I don't know. It's very confusing, book 2, but the setting was cute. I like small town romances, but again, grumpy sunshine, it needs to be done well, and just the dialogue here was just not for me. I felt like with both of these books, they push a lot of slang, like contemporary slang in these books that make it seem very immature for people that are probably in their 30s. So I just don't see people speaking like that in modern day. Also, there are certain references to like
women's menstrual cycles in here.
In a bar, and if you know, you know, but like, it just made me super uncomfortable. I don't see in any way, shape, or form a bar catering to the bartenders Shark Week. And how is it that every single woman would, which I know like there's cycle syncing, but it was really weird, and everyone was like trying to be really, really nice to these bartenders and not like step on their toes, otherwise they wouldn't get served drinks. Like, what kind of establishment is that? Why would you put a sign in front of the door, letting the guests of this bar know that all of the women are on their period. What? So yeah, I think that's what really did it for me. I like our main characters in book 2 as individuals, but together there's just certain things that happen, and again, it's just the writing style. I feel like if it could have been written differently, same plot, same setting, same storyline, everything, just the writing style should have been differently in my head. And yeah, that's why I couldn't get over it. That's why I couldn't finish it. Sorry, not sorry, but this was unfortunately a flop, which is really sucky because these covers are beautiful. I can't get myself to liking them. And then last but not least, I want to give an honorable mention to Colleen Hoover. Basically any of her books, because I have not read any of them, and I know I can't really judge a book by its cover, but from everything I've heard on TikTok, on YouTube, from these books that she's written, every single relationship couple is like a toxic relationship, and I really don't like that. I don't like reading about that. I find it to be something that just bothers me. I want a happy ending. I want happy couples. Yes, you can have miscommunication. Yes, you can have your own personal issues, but if you could never see yourself in a relationship like that in real life, why would you want to read about it? You know, I don't know. That's just my opinion. So yeah, I don't think I'll ever read anything from her. Again, I want something a little more happy and joyful to read. And if I want something a little more suspenseful, I will just pick up a thriller. But I don't need to read about trauma in relationships. Sorry, I just don't. So again, if you have opinions, if you have any comments you want to leave for me, please let me know. I would love to start up a discussion about these books, because let's just talk about it. I want to know why you like these books or why not. But yeah, that is gonna be it for me. Those are all the books that are famous on Booktok that I just really don't like. I hope you enjoyed this video.
I hope it wasn't super depressing.
But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you in my next video. Mwah. Bye!